What's up guys, Nightwolf88 here, and tonight I bring you guys another video. As the title of this video suggests, this is a list of some of the things that I hate. I recently did a Q&A video a few months back, so that video got some pretty nice views, and a lot of people seem to like it, okay, so yeah, I decided, how about I let you guys in on some of the things that either drive me crazy, annoy me, or just flat out piss me off. So, yeah. Got my list here on my phone, so let's just get to it. By the way, guys, my phone did start working. I did a video about, I think a week ago, that my phone wouldn't turn on or something, like something was messed up with it. Yeah, it finally started working again. It actually started working later that night, to be honest. So, yeah. Let's just get started with this list. Things that I hate. Right at the top of the list is the Prius. Personally, I don't have any problem with the Prius, at least not too much. I would never own one. If it was the only thing that I could drive, and if it was the only thing that I could afford, actually, if it was the only thing that I could drive or afford, I would just flat out walk. For one thing, the Prius is a pretty unreliable vehicle. I know a lot of people that have driven Priuses, and they feel like it is either A, environmentally friendly, or B, it's all they could afford. And, I don't look down on them just because they bought a Prius. I personally don't like it because they're so cheaply made, and they're not really made for, like, the most long-term trips, it seems like. Like, one of the top problems with a Prius that I found out about are basically transmission problems and motor failure, where basically the engine just blows up after a few thousand miles, and yeah, it basically just, I personally would never buy one. If you want to get a hybrid, I would consider getting like a Ford Focus, or maybe like a Chevy Cruze or a Chevy Volt or something. I hear those are pretty nice cars. I don't own either of those, but I've heard some pretty good reviews. They seem to be reliable vehicles. If you want a hybrid made by Toyota, maybe look for a Camry. One of my parents drive a Camry, so the Camry we've had in my family for years, it seems to be doing pretty well. It's not a hybrid, it's a fully gas-powered Camry, but I know some people that have hybrids, like Avalons, Corollas, Camrys. They seem to be doing pretty well. They seem to be a lot more, like, well-equipped and a lot more durable than the Prius. Yeah. I also hate the smart car. I just think it's a stupid idea. Next on the list, Subway. I recently made a video a while back where I pretty much don't eat at Subway because a lot of the times I do, I either get sick or have the urge to get sick, like, somehow. Yeah, it's just one of those things I don't really do too often. Next on the list, feminism. That's pretty self-explanatory, being that I am a guy. Personally, I just think, I personally think someone came up with feminism just to, like, start another war or something, or just to get on people's nerves, to annoy them with something. You're basically just looking down. It's almost like racism when you think about it. You're looking down on the opposite gender. Coincidentally enough, racism is actually the next thing on the list. And much like feminism, I think that's just something else that was made to start wars. Guys, we're all human beings. Come on. Like, we've got enough going on in the world as it is. Do we really need racism? Do we really need feminism? Like, come on. Really? Like, are you guys that desperate for a war just to begin that you gotta pull up all these things? I think it's stupid that African Americans, what the heck is wrong with me? African Americans were treated the way they were, or how, racial stereotypes are just, they're pretty common today, especially in like media and all kinds of things like that. Sometimes it's with the people that you come in contact with. Now, don't get me wrong. Like I enjoy like a lot of my friends and I we joke around a lot and stuff. But like none of us really mean it. At least none that I know. Like none of us are just really gonna like start flat out calling people out by racial slurs or their names or anything. At least not you know not in a really serious manner. Like I'll admit there have been some times where a bunch of my friends, they call themselves some stuff that they probably shouldn't. That you probably shouldn't around people that you don't really know as much. But sometimes you just really gotta think about what's really coming out of your mouth and what's really being absorbed into everyone else's ears. Next on the list, people that are always negative. That is also, I feel like this also includes, racism and feminism. A lot of them, their bases end up with, well, they begin with negativity, basically. They're different from us. Oh, we gotta start a war. I just don't see the point in it, guys. Um, as for people that are negative, like I'm sure each and every one of you watching this video, you've come in contact with someone that's just always just tries to get on your nerves. They're bored with their own lives, so all they gotta do, to get some, all they gotta do to just get off is just, get on someone's nerves. Always trying to ruin the party. Always gotta say the most negative and unwanted and ballistic crap in the world. Just to, just to get a reaction. Next on the list, people that take social media way too seriously. Now, I feel like this would be a little bit hypocritical in a way because, if you're taking social media way too seriously, you may be taking, people's negativity too seriously, which you could be in the wrong for. But those people that are being negative on social media could also be in the wrong, so you really gotta like look at it. Is the glass half full or half empty? Or is that an analogy that could go this? Shoot, I don't know. I guess you gotta, pick your sides or pick your poison, rather. Yeah, next on the list, douchey teachers. I've had my share of teachers that are just complete idiots and just, you know, they're so thick-headed. They just never want to reason with you. They think all they are, they're the smartest beings in the world. They pretty much just abuse their authority, basically. And I've actually had some teachers that were fired for being abusive. Both, like, freaking. I had a gym teacher. I'm not gonna say who or what grade or what school, but I had a gym teacher in the past who was actually fired for drinking and actually doing drugs on the job. He was addicted to marijuana. He was actually seen a couple of times drinking, and I swear one of those times I saw him. I think we were like running laps around the gym, and I look over, I see him drinking something from behind his desk. He's going, just, you just gotta watch out for some of these things sometimes. I think, like, as a kid, you basically feel like adults are in control of everything. They've got it all figured out. Guys, I hate to break it to you, but that is not the case. You will someday learn that yourselves if you haven't already. Basically, not everyone's perfect. No one is perfect, actually. I don't even know why I said not everyone. Not everyone is as nice as they appear to be. You should never judge a book by its cover, basically. That's just what I'm saying. Like, some things may look dangerous and they're not really as dangerous as you think they are, and some things may look benign, but it's really, you gotta know what's on the inside, what's really brewing up here. Next on the list, high school. That's pretty self-explanatory for those of you that are either in high school or have been to high school in the past. High school is just, it's not my favorite place to be, guys. On one thing, I've had some of the best times of my life in high school. I'm actually a junior in high school right now. On today, as this is being filmed. Now, some of you may be watching this in the future, and I may be either a senior or I may be, shoot, I may have already graduated by the time you see this video, or maybe you're just looking back at this video for kicks and giggles. Who knows? Yeah. Kind of messed up by scrolling. Let's see. Yeah. Next on the list, new Ghostbusters. You know, I guess it's just one of those things where, you know, if you like the movie, good for you. I didn't really like the new Ghostbusters, mostly because it's just a reboot. You know, don't get me wrong, I love a lot of reboots. To be honest, when I say a lot, I kind of mean a few. I don't really watch that many movies that are reboots, mainly because they either let you down or they just pretty much, you know what's going to happen, especially if they don't switch things up, or maybe they oh gosh, excuse me, guys. Got some congestion. So either A, you know, they pretty much they let you down, or B, you know where it's coming, or C, they do make a change and you're not happy with that change. Like, maybe it could be a change to the cast, maybe it could be a change to some of the script writing. Who knows, guys? Now, for those of you that have never seen a single Ghostbusters movie, spoiler ahead, you may want to skip through at least 5 or 10 minutes from this, starting now. Okay, you're still here? Good. For those of you that either don't care about spoilers, or B, you've already seen it and you know what's going on. There's a scene in Ghostbusters in both versions, the new and the old. There's a scene where they're at the library, I think, and they come across this elderly woman. She's a ghost. She's dead, but she refuses to leave the library. And basically, what happens is the Ghostbusters, they try and reason with her, and when that doesn't work, they're about to capture her with their weapons. I don't even remember the specific terms, but they try to capture the librarian ghost, but she pretty much turns into this freaking CGI jump scare, and it scared the crap out of a lot of people seeing the movie for the first time in the original. But the thing is, they did the same thing in the reboot of it with the female Ghostbusters. You know, like, I was expecting the jump scare. I had a friend of mine, Andrew. Shout out to him. He and I went to see the movie together with his dad, and we saw it. Andrew had never really seen the Ghostbusters, as far as I know. So when we went to go see it, and he saw the library ghost, he jumped a little bit, but not as much as the time that I showed him the original Ghostbusters. Mainly because, you know, we all knew I feel like we're a little bit more desensitized to CGI, especially modern CGI, since we come in contact with it so much. You know, back in the 80s and, dare I say, even late 70s, maybe the 90s even, you know, CGI, it was fresh new technology, you know, with computers evolving. And I am getting a phone call. Put that on hold. So basically, with computers and technology evolving as it was back in the day, you know, that was fresh to us. We did not expect to see those big old T-Rexes in Jurassic Park, you know, the way we did. Or basically, you know, a lot of the stuff going on in Beetlejuice, you know, back when that came out. The snake, I think, was that CGI? I think it was CGI, but I feel like they also had like a model to it or something. But, you know, stuff like that. Yeah. But also, the other thing I can't stand about the new Ghostbusters is basically, like, you know, it puts out a few female stereotypes, which, like I said, I hate when people enforce stereotypes. I think it's annoying. But, you know, like, I don't know. Personally, if you wanted to make a good reboot, like you could have made it to where it wasn't a reboot at all. You could have made it to more like a continuation of the previous Ghostbusters. Like even though I will admit a lot of people didn't really like Ghostbusters 2 as much as the original. I personally liked the original, the first one, a lot better. But the second one, it was okay. But they could have at least made like a continuation. Like I'm aware that they had some actors that had died since the last Ghostbusters movie and present day. So maybe they could have worked around that, like saying, "Oh, I can't believe he's dead. Yeah, we're getting old. You know, we need to bring in some new blood into this company." Like maybe Bill Murray, for instance, his character could have had like a daughter or something, or maybe like some other kid. Like they could have brought them. Like it's time for you to get into the family business. This is what we do. Like maybe that could have happened, or maybe they could have just hired some new recruits. Either way, I've spent a good few minutes on that subject, Ghostbusters. um, Next on the list, people who do yard work at night. A lot of people, like especially just like people that live close by to their neighbors. Um, I think we've all had this happen to us, whether it's either too early in the morning or too late at night. People that are trying to sleep and then all of a sudden all you hear is oh, like a lawnmower or a chainsaw or a leaf blower. Something going on outside, something with an engine or an electric motor that's just driving you crazy and it doesn't stop for a few hours. Guys, this is my opinion. If you have to turn on a floodlight or a spotlight just to see your own lawn so you can mow it or trim it or do whatever you're doing outside, maybe you should call it a night. I'm just saying, you know, like maybe you should just wait for the sun to come up. And yeah, I mean, I personally wouldn't do any yard work till like maybe 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, something like that, because a lot of people I know that sleep in and probably wouldn't appreciate that. I personally sleep in pretty often, especially on the weekends. Next on the list, Hillary Clinton. I'll just leave it at that for political purposes. Next on the list, douchey employees at stores. I guess these can kind of fit in like teachers. I think we've all been to a store, or at least some point in life we are going to be at a store that you're going to come in contact with an employee that just, you know, they're annoying, they're rude, you know, they're giving you the worst service possible, they may be like bad mouthing you, who knows, guys. Just so unprofessional, especially like it seems to happen a lot with a lot of people that have either A, they hate their job, B, they're just flat out assholes, or C, you know, they're just unexperienced and just really unprofessional. So yeah. Next on the list, disgusting hotels. Me personally, around a lot of vacation times, whether it's Christmas or Thanksgiving or just summer, spring break, whatever it is, I usually do a lot of traveling. I stay at a lot of hotels. And some of those hotels I've been to are pretty disgusting. Now, I try not to sound like a picky person, but you know, if I go to a hotel and I'm seeing stains on your toilet seat or on the bathroom floor or on the sink or something, you know, something's up. And there's a reason I bring like a can of Lysol with me on whatever trip I'm going on. Another thing, if you find like stains in bed sheets or just mattresses, you need to call the front desk immediately, because there's been some stuff going on there. I'm not going to say what it is specifically, so this video doesn't get demonetized, even though it probably will for the slight cursing. But anyway, I've actually stayed at a hotel that I thought was pretty nice, and it was nice. It was pretty luxurious for the most part. There was just one problem. Whoever the housekeeper was, they didn't do a really good job of cleaning the place. I found you know, some pretty disgusting stuff in the hotel bathroom. There was hair in a lot of places where, I don't know, someone may have been like trimming or doing a little manscaping or something. I don't know what was going on before we got into that hotel room, but there was some nasty stuff going on there. And then there was another time I went to a hotel and I sat in a chair. They had a leather chair that was sitting in the corner of the room, and I sat in the chair, and it looked pretty nice for the most part. And I was texting my friend, and we got here, we're safe and everything. I looked down away from my phone. I was in bare feet, keep in mind. There were fingernails or toenails or something scattered all around the chair and the carpet. I jumped up, but I also jumped onto a nearby bed because yeah, I don't want to be sitting in that chair, but I also don't want to be touching that filthy carpet, that hadn't been vacuumed in God knows when. So yeah, disgusting hotels. Can't stand them. Next on the list, spoiled kids. I think everyone's also come in contact with these types of people once in a while. Parents just don't know how to raise kids, I guess, sometimes. Next on the list, people that enforce stereotypes. I kind of discussed that a little bit earlier into this vlog about racism and just you're just basically putting labels of how to judge people and their lives. Next on the list, people that blast music in cars. Now, me personally, I listen to a lot of music when I'm driving, and sometimes I probably have it a little louder than I should. So I guess you could say I'm a little hypocritical in this rule. I do like to, I like seeing a lot of cars that, I've come in contact with a lot of cars that have, they get great sound systems. They got the aux cord going on, they got all this neon lighting, they got the subwoofers in the back and on the sides, just scattered throughout the car. But the thing is that I can't stand sometimes, guys, is I'll be filling up at the gas station, I'll be standing there waiting for the gas pump to stop, and this car will pull up either next to me or it will pull up, a few yards away from me and go park at the parking area in the store to go inside the store. And what this person will do, they'll usually have their windows rolled down, and the music is just the most of. They got blaring, they got bass lines going on, heavy beats that sound like they're about to pop the tires just for being so loud. Just doom, doom, doom. Stuff like that, just going on. I realized that was probably the worst beatboxing. Yeah, not the best of that. But anyway. They got their windows rolled down, or maybe it's a convertible. They got the top, rolled down and stuff, I guess. And I just find it kind of annoying. Almost like a big, hey, F you, basically just giving you the finger in a way, just to say, yeah, I got loud music. What you gonna do about it? Which, I guess you gotta put yourself in the situation. What would you do if you had that type of sound system, Next on the list, fire ants, and really just bugs in general. Here in the South, we have a pretty big infestation with fire ants, and those of you that live around the southern areas, or really just any area in the United States, you walk around bare feet in the summer and come across a small pile of dirt that you didn't notice until you actually stepped in it. You know what I'm talking about. There was actually a time I was taking out the trash. Pretty often I will take out the trash the night before and set it on the curb outside on the night before trash day. So I'll take out, all the garbage, I'll set it out there, and a lot of the time I'll either be in bare feet or I will be in flip-flops just because, I don't want to bother with putting on my shoes. I'm about to go to bed anyway as it is or something, or relax. So what's the point of putting them on? I'm not even going to be out there that long. Well, one occasion I was dragging a trash can behind me and I was taking it to the curb. Well, I was in flip-flops and I started cutting through the grass. Well, I didn't know it at the time, but I felt something. Now that I look back at it, I feel like I did step in something that was like either dirt or a clump of mowed grass or something, like grass clippings, who knows, guys. But I know the next few seconds was just this burning sensation going up all the way to my ankles, and I was freaking out. I knew what it was. I went to the gutters, or the curb, and because it had rained previously. So I'm like washing all the ants off, and I'm freaking out. Oh gosh, I'm standing under a street light, and you know, it wasn't fun, guys. Um, Also, yeah, like I said, next on the list would have been spiders, but I already said most bugs in general. So spiders just freak me out, even if they are harmless. They just freak me out. And yeah, what actually freaked me out, I heard this a few years back. The average human will consume about 12 to 20 spiders in their sleep and not even know it. And that's what freaks me out, because whenever I wake up with a sore throat, I start thinking, like, could a brown recluse or like some other spider, could they have been like climbing on the wall and then automatically just end up dive bombing into my mouth like while I was sleeping, and maybe I ended up swallowing it, which wouldn't be so bad if my throat wasn't so sore. So maybe I did swallow a spider, but the spider tried to get out, and maybe it started like scratching and biting at my throat trying to get out. Maybe that's why my throat's so scratchy and swollen. So that's what I think about every time I wake up with a sore throat. Kind of like I got right now, guys. My throat itches. Next on the list, public bathrooms. Usually can't really stand these. Not all public bathrooms are disgusting, at least not as some others that I've come in contact with, but a lot of the bathrooms, like for instance the ones in my school, which I swear are rarely ever cleaned, and yeah, I try not to use public bathrooms if I can help it. Um, the final thing on the list, people who get away with breaking the law. Every time, this is why I can't watch the news sometimes, I'll look at something and people will have gotten away with either murders, maybe shootings, maybe like massacres, maybe there's something going on, like maybe someone's house got robbed, or someone had been knocked unconscious or beaten up, and they wake up, they've had all their clothes stolen or their car stolen, and you don't know who did it because the cops couldn't find them in time, or the cops didn't give enough of a crap to actually look for them. I was about to say something else, but I stopped myself. Good for me. Yeah. So, those are some of the things that I hate. Guys, hopefully that'll help you understand me a little bit more. And yeah, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you like content on my channel, please subscribe. And with that all being said, guys, Nightwolf88, out of here.